So you want to start a new blog or a new YouTube channel? Well, in my experience, you've got to do three things. Number one, is the niche something you're passionate about? If it's not, you're unlikely to write about it for years to come. It's going to be a real struggle. Two, can you actually make money from the niche? Are there affiliate programs? Is there an info product? Is it something that you can make a profit out of? And the third thing is traffic. Can you get traffic to the website? But wait a second, what if you're passionate about it? You know you can make money, but everybody else has had exactly the same idea. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello YouTube, and a very special hello to all my subscribers. My name's Phil and welcome to my channel where I document my journey building an online income. If you're joining me for the first time, why not stick around, because I think you're going to find this useful if you're in the same boat. Okay guys, so we're talking about building up a niche and thinking about the competition, because sometimes you really do want to get into the niche, but you're going to have to niche down. So we're going to talk about a few ideas to do with that, because this is something I've been thinking about lately. So what I've been doing is thinking about my plans for 2021, and I really like the idea of building up a few websites that I'm going to eventually sell in the future. And I kind of want to target more popular niches, because till late I've gone with really kind of fringe topics, and as we've seen, they haven't got a lot of traffic coming in, so I want to try something a little bit different. So I was thinking about a few ideas, doing some research, and I kind of came across a lot of Project 24 websites, people that I know what they're doing, and it's obviously some of these niches are quite competitive, but that doesn't mean you have to give up. So today I'm going to talk about a free tool, a method that you can use to help you kind of narrow down your sub niche so that you can eventually build up a bigger website as time goes by. So basically what we're talking about here is day one, starting as a new blog and to a certain extent as a new YouTube channel. You don't have a lot of authority or trust with either an audience or with Google or YouTube themselves. So if you were to go straight towards a niche, straight towards the most competitive queries that are out there, you really wouldn't have a chance in hell. And that's just not going to be a very good situation. So rather, what you've got to do is come at this at a bit of an angle, and you're going to have to niche down. Now, before I forget, when we say niche down, we're really talking about the content. We're not necessarily talking about the domain. I would always go for a fairly broad domain, a quite brandable domain name, so that later on, if I become successful in the niche, I can niche up. But I would certainly start off with niche down content. And we're going to talk about that in detail in just a moment. So as I said, the whole point here is that we're going to get our foot in the door, and we're going to do that by looking at rather niche queries, but hopefully ones that will still bring in a little bit of traffic. So the tool, you've probably heard of it, it's called Google Trends. And although it does not actually give you real search volume numbers, it gives you a relative idea of how much a topic is searched for. Now, many of you out there know that I follow the Project 24 method, and Jim and Ricky, they don't really believe in keyword tools. It's a little bit controversial, I suppose, but in my own experience, I've tested it with my websites, and those tools do not report exactly the same numbers. So it's probably not a good idea to base your entire website on the information there. But Google Trends, I think, gives you a better idea of which types of sub niches are more popular than others, and that can help you with your search analysis. So let's jump into an example. So imagine that I wanted to start a new website about extreme sports. If I was to go for a query like which extreme sport should I start, I know without even looking that's going to be a fairly competitive search term. It just wouldn't be something I would write as a brand new website owner. So what I'm going to do is try and think of sports within extreme sports, and then go for queries kind of connected with those sports. Now, ordinarily, I should already know what extreme sports are, but the only extreme sport I do is kind of walking to the pub. So my first step in this video is to search popular extreme sports in the United States, because we want to target the US traffic if we can. So we can see on the first website that comes up, there's a list of different sports. There's 10 here, just for as an example, from sort of skydiving, ice, swimming, whatever that might be, sounds lovely. and a few others. So what I'm going to do is just put these as search terms into Google Trends. Now you notice that you can only put in about 5 as it goes. So I've got 10, so I'm going to open up 2 tabs and have 5 in each. Now this kind of gives you an idea between the 5 different terms which are searched a little bit more in terms of relative volume. And that can kind of help you choose, okay, maybe I'm going to go for this category over this one. But the thing is, what if you want to kind of compare more than 5 terms together? Well, all you've got to do is download it into a CSV file, and you can put this into Excel, or you can put it into Google Sheets, and you can actually create your own kind of line graph, and you can show more than 5 different search queries. So what I did here was to compare it to a few search queries that we kind of know the potential search volume. So dirt biking is always a good one to search against. I also searched against RV camping and also sailing, just to give an idea of relative volume, because we know from Income School that they managed to get a full-time income from those 3 kind of topics. So what I would do next is kind of go through each of the sports individually and do my normal search analysis approach. So checking for Google alphabet soup queries, and if you don't know how to do that, there's a video that I made and you can find the link that is up in the corner there. And I would go through that and just look for the gaps. But I would also think about, is it better to go for a much more search niche, something like parasailing here, or something like kayaking, and rather than going for the most obvious beginner kind of questions, going for something maybe a level down, because although it may not be the first question a beginner asks, a lot more people may be asking it because it's searched for more. So you can either take it that way, or you can think about taking an entire sub niche and just writing the entire content possible for that and filling out that niche before you move on to another one within the umbrella niche, as it were. So what do you guys think? Which is the best approach? Would you go for the most popular sub niche within a niche and target the traffic there? Would you try and fill out an entire niche on its own, maybe a less popular one, but trying to become the authority in that? Or would you do a mix of both? Now, I think what I would do if I was writing this website for real is actually to go and write, say for the first 60 articles, I might pick 2, 3, 4 sub niches within the niche and just kind of experiment within those for the common beginner queries that people might ask, and just to see what hits. And then if I see anything that's kind of popular, that's bringing more traffic than the other articles, of course, that's when you double down. So just talking about the domain again. So I was thinking about what would I call this website that I'm making, although I'm not going to write about extreme sports, I know nothing about that. And I was thinking, okay, I would go for something like extreme sweat extreme, depending what was available. And although it sounds a bit weird, it's quite a brandable name, I think. And within that, I could write about anything, because I'm sure there are more than these 10 example extreme sports that we're talking about. I could just go through this process again and again and again until I find the gaps that I'm looking for in the market. So if you've watched this and it's kind of all a little bit bewildering, you're not really sure exactly what I'm talking about, you may be the right person to join Project 24. This is an internet marketing course that's set up by Income School, and it really takes beginners and more advanced people through all the steps they need to build an online income through blogging or through YouTube, and also creating your own info product. I found it really useful. I've learned a lot in the last sort of 18 months. And if you feel like you need a kind of a push in the right direction, it may be the right fit for you. If you'd like to find out a little bit more, there's a link in the description which will take you over to a webinar which explains all about Project 24. It is an affiliate link, but it doesn't affect the price that you pay, but it does help me out. And if you've enjoyed this channel, enjoyed listening to me talk about my journey, then perhaps you'd like to do that. Okay guys, I will see you in a future video where I will hopefully be sharing more of my tips and experiences building an online income. So remember, keep publishing, keep going, because success is coming.